Inhale. Om. Gurudev Namo. Om. Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev
Namo.
Sadguru Siri Gurudev Namo Adguru Namo Jagadguru Namo Sadguru Namo Siri Gurudev Namo Adguru Namo Jagadguru Namo Sadguru Namo Siri Gurudev Namo. Hard breath. Okay. Now, this is from Baba Siri Chand, and this is going to have two different, how can you say, two sessions. First, we will have the first, and then second with another understanding. Okay, so this is that from all of you is for two different things during the black times. Do you understand the black times?
Yes.
Okay. Is somebody, if you don't understand, let me know. Okay. So the first one is, who are the aims of the black times? Who's, in other words, who's using or bringing together for the black times? Okay. And then also ask, what are they moving? What are they moving these black times? Do you understand that? First,
not quite.
Say it again.
Not quite. A little more explanation of both questions, both things.
Yeah. First is about who are the aims of the black times. Do you all get that?
Is it who or what? Or both?
No, the second part is
You mean the objective?
Say it
Do you
again.
mean the objective? What is the objective of the black times?
Yeah. Why? Why? Who?
Okay.
Who are the aims? And the second part is, what are they doing or moving these for these black times? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. And both of those are the first part. And the second part that I will let you know for the second part later.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So,
Siri Gian, Satnam, this is Sahej. Are you just talking about these coming into these dark times now? Or
yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was on track.
Uh-huh. No,
Thank
you got it. Okay. So, as you said, the first section is for who and also for what, about the aims and how do those black times, how do they change? Does that make a sense to you? Okay, so here we go. 3 minutes. Inhale and exhale. Hard breath. Okay. Sun City?
Oh, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Whoa, a cold bolt of terror went through my heart with this question. And okay, I had an interesting, what brought me back, my first flashback was Soul showed me we had this thing called a month at McAllister College where I went, where you could do your own project. So I decided to read Paradise Lost at a monastery overlooking the harbor on eastern Long Island. And I almost had like a mental breakdown
Oh.
there. It was so intense. And my soul showed me that was a beginning of understanding that we utterly because of free will. That's kind of the story. I'm going to speak from a Catholic tradition because that's what I was brought up in and hadn't encountered you all until I was in my late 30s, Siri Gian, and had
Okay.
it. So my point is, we have free will,
Yes.
and we get to choose good and evil. And the hard times are about burning off the core, the propensity to use our free will. I'm going to use the word evil. It's kind of a heavy word for darkness and not the light. And the light of the soul, to go for the darkness of ego and not the light of the soul. That's what I'm getting. And the hard times will purify because there'll be no, it'll be so dark, there'll be no other options but to choose the light. We'll see the pure destructiveness of our of our ego self versus the light of the soul. And it's going to be good, which really shocked me and surprised me as I moved through this meditation. So I hope it makes sense. And thank you so much for this really deep challenge and opportunity for more soul insight.
Mm, good. Okay. So, so you're talking basically about all of us. Is that right? All of
That's
us.
correct. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Soul is the light of the world. It's kind of, and that's will be in a purification process and destruction of old forms built on ego. There's so much hope in the world, and it just needs to grow. Hope and light and soul just needs to grow.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Sahej.
Satnam, I'm going to have to wait till the end. I'm in transit. I'm taking someone to the airport.
Okay. Sounds good.
Say what?
I have to be an angel today, at least till towards the end, because I'm driving someone to the airport.
Oh, okay. So what about Vade?
Yeah, it was interesting. I didn't get a lot of communication through words this time. It was more like I felt somatically like just kind of in the beginning, like a numbness and like fear and confusion, and like the sensation of like power versus love, like power over. I'm trying to put words to kind of what I was feeling, and then it was
Okay.
like a
Please say what was the other thing? You had fear, and then you said later about love. And what was the middle thing?
um like a feeling of like power or force versus love. There was like a transition from like Baba was kind of showing me, I think, through just the felt sense of like where of the darkness and what that feels like, at least like in my physical experience. And then toward the end, there was like a similar sensation of what I get when I'm doing heart breath is like a spiraling open and a lightness and a relaxation in my body. So it was like this really noticeable transition from like a dense, stuck fear, terror, to movement, softening, melting, relaxing, and heart. But like I'm not really knowing like exactly like what are the details or what are the ins and outs of this, but just the like vibrational difference. Yeah, from the darkness to the light, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Gian das Prem.
Satnam. He's wow, yeah, very powerful. So for me, it was love and the freedom and the opening of our courage to notice the freedom and the yearn for freedom and the others, and us leaving out that which causes harm in order to replace it with that which creates and serves light and love. And I'm just being reminded from the reminders of the people around me, and the similarities that we have, throughout the world, and our desire to be with love and to show love and to express love as our product that we produce. And it's the being in the mirror, I think, sometimes for me, and that the way how it blows in the wind and it spins like a leaf, or a flower or a butterfly, how it seems to be out of control, but yet it has this way of moving its weight. And my daughter wrapped me this morning in a piece of Gaza, and because she's working with these people, trying to help, we're lawyers around the world, mothers, doctors, lawyers, people, cousins trying to work together here. And I think the vibration is becoming so powerful in that darkness that's giving us a little bit of a view of adjusting our souls more so than our eyes and our opinions. And that, coming back to that Wahi Guru, was just so powerful. Last week was the year anniversary of the subject, and it just so happened to be a year anniversary of a group that I joined for Satanama. And it was a celebration that came about, and then having Christmas coming the following week, and then the coming together with family and meeting new friends of my daughters, our group here, that this vibration, that the echoes have a way of coming back to us, and in that vibration, in that consciousness, that electrical current is being shared with the world, going through the earth and everything. And I think that that's part of our coming through that, noticing our difficulties, how we've dealt with them, and how our understanding can come in through that way of our, correlation of our healing, and in those colors and in that brilliant light. But when we're put in the darkness, we can focus our eyes, to be with that certain situation. And within the breath really is what got me today, because that breathing, it can bring a joy, it can bring an understanding, and then wow, it's the heart builds so much when you cry, right? Because there can be a joyous amount of crying in that. And I've been reminded of falling, through conversation of, and this person is a lawyer and she had to come here from Italy and she didn't really know the language. My daughter's a defense attorney and she's a prosecutor, and we were just sitting here talking, and I'm saying how beautiful that is, for that understanding of us, coming together. But that little bit of work that we're doing, it comes back to us, I think, in that through us. And that way is so beautiful for me to notice being here. Yeah. And that Waheguru. Yeah. So much joy and love. So the last thing I want to say was, we do all this here, and it brings in this joy and this vibration in this group. And and we come together and we open with our voice and we close with our voice. And my other group, it was a year anniversary. So after we sat around and we had tea and we had, normally after and have a little snack and whatnot. And then we took pictures and we sat around and we showed how we do certain things to share with the community. And they put music on and we sat around and we started chanting. And sure enough,
Mhm.
my favorite song came on that was, for me, was just this way of getting rid of all the mucus out of me. The song I Am, right? And I listened to it for so many times and I would just let the tears come and I would let the mucus come to the point where I learned how to sing that song and I could kill it. I'm not normally the type of person that says that, but I had to work my voice. I had to work my body for years to get to that point. And for her to just put that song on and I just let loose, and it was beautiful. And I saw that reminder in us and our work together and that vibration, like just coming back to me and saying, wow, you know, that breath, it really takes some practice to become part of that. And, being around this experience of all your vibrations and all of your studies and how it comes back to me and my learning and my understanding the translations and how it actually the way that it makes me feel is what's being written down on the paper. And I think that's if we have that feeling for our want of our vision of the change of this, coming out of the darkness and coming back together through all of our ideas and our love and that sharing of those beautiful technology that we have inside of our body here for creating more life for sustenance. Yeah. And right after Christmas, and now it's Hanukkah in that way of coming together and understanding through, and there are a lot of similarities, but I think if we look at the other differences that seem so far away, that there may have been part of us that's in there that we maybe thought that way before, and that we came out of it back to this, and that strength and courage that allows us to be in that love will give us, um, for myself, the experience of the inner voice or, the third eye or with just in the breath, that breath, how it does it. And somehow I'm giving, a little bit more words out. So that's just my explanation. But the feeling of the love and that action of how we're here to help each other, heal each other. And this home is such a beautiful place for us. And I just feel a connection to that home of that earth, of this place being our, our gem, our place to celebrate on and be here. And Vaheguru, yeah. And thank you so much. It's so much love there. And the pink, that pink color, the flowers, it's just something that we can bathe into. And while remembering the others that may be having difficulties that they may need the help, and it may be difficult for us to reach out and to help them. And sometimes helping them is, not physically helping them, but sometimes we do have to say no, and that can be a tough thing to do. But before saying no, we can find an understanding of what our meaning of that is, and that can be difficult for us too to understand. And I think if we have that compassion, sometimes just listening. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Widow.
Okay, Sahej, are you ready?
I can go if she isn't.
Okay. So
I'm not
Um,
driving still. Sorry.
okay. So here goes Japa Saraswati.
um, it was sort of heavy and dark.
Mm.
For the first question, what are the aims of the Black Times? And I sort of asked the Black Times themselves what was it that they wanted, and the answer that I got was soul energy and vital life energy. That that how do I say it? That I felt the narrowing of the scope of
Mm.
people's possibilities and potentials and expressions, and a seeking that the Black Times wanted homogeneity, basically for the sake of easy digestion. And myself, everyday self, felt very offended about all of this. And I feel powerless. I've always had a big expression, and the feeling that I get for that easy digestion is that the world, that people want to be mad at me for me being hard to chew up. They're like, you stop being so crunchy, you stop being so hard for us to eat you up. And
Would you say that again?
I feel like the world sometimes, not just the world, I mean people, that like when I fight back against them trying to digest me, that they're saying stop being so crunchy, stop being with all of these little legs and arms in between our teeth, like go down nice and smooth for us. And I want to say rage against the dying of the light, like I'm just um and what are they moving? And what I felt was just a chumming in dark waters. I saw dark waters. Um, and yeah, and I saw all of us not you and me, I mean all of us as humanity sort of navigating these dark waters and uncertain times. And um, yeah, that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm. Good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Siri Gian, this is Sahej. I have pulled over and I didn't think I was going to have anything today, but I do.
Oh, good. Okay. This
Always.
is perfect. Okay, go ahead.
Um, I feel very moved by such deep gratitude. I can barely express it because this came to me just before we came on our call this morning. And it perfectly encapsulates what I was just now given to understand. And it's a poem by an incredible poet named Naomi Shihab Nye, which many of you may know, and it's called Kindness, but I think it exactly speaks this. And I kept seeing this poem as I was kind of half trying to listen while I was driving today. And but I'm shown that this is the essence. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted carefully and saved, all this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop, the passengers eating maize and chickens will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how that could be you. How he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, it is I you have been looking for, and then goes with you everywhere like a shadow or a friend.
Wonderful.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. Japa Saraswati, will you put that?
Yes.
Okay. So you'll put that with today's
I
session.
will.
All right.
I'll paste it in the chat.
Thanks.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Okay, now the next part, I think a lot of you have already said this part because it seems obvious, okay?
Mhm.
So this is for what can we do to change from the black to the light? You got it?
Yes.
Okay. So again, well, this time we're going to have only 2 minutes. And we inhale, exhale, and breathe. Okay, Sat City.
So, all I really got was it will be a dark night of the soul for the planet. We are entering a dark night of the soul for of the planet, and we've all been through dark nights of the soul, and our practices have opened up our hearts to soul, our minds, our bodies, and it's not, keep up, keep up, keep up.
Mm, okay, and keep up. What do you keep for? Keep up for?
Forgiveness, healing, sat, truth, hope, all the gifts of the soul,
What was the last part?
all the gifts of living from soul, it's like hope, the virtues of soul, hope, trust, faith, healing, joy, peace, mostly. And then it's going to take a lot of honesty, truth. And I'm getting a little bit more now that um, the people in power are going to cling, cling, cling. And I hope I'm making sense because a lot of stuff is coming. For some reason, of late, the door to my Christian heritage has opened in my own brain. So it's like it's fighting principalities. That's the letters of Paul. Those are the scriptures I grew up with. So that, keep up
Great.
for the virtues of soul.
Okay.
Fight for the virtues of soul.
And again,
And it's, in a sense, it's a battle. And that's where my Sikh heritage comes up. And you probably know way more about this, or other people in the group, about all the references to battles in the Siri Granth Sahib. I'm not, I just know it's come up a lot when I've done hukams.
mhm,
The warrior spirit of being a Sikh or practicing the Sikh life. The warriors for soul. We are warriors for soul.
we are warriors.
Warriors for soul. That's the Sikh tradition.
Mhm.
Fear not.
You're not. Good. Thank you, dear.
Thank you all.
Okay. Hey,
I was getting a lot about staying in motion, like with spinning and dancing, and with voice, like singing by myself, but also with other people, bringing in play, like including our inner child and the children, um, continuing to like always just remember not only heart breath, but breathing at all times, and um, even teaching heart breath, and staying with soul and staying close to the earth. And what I heard at the very end was just like basically letting the light guide. So continuing to just listen in every moment, through this transition, the light is guiding us. So stay in that vibration, that frequency, so that we can have an understanding of how to move forward in a new way, um, together. So like together we're listening to a new way forward that's guided by the light, and our hearts like dance in that, like they're ready for that, and they're excited, um, to kind of be the leaders now.
mhm,
Yeah, I think that's it.
wonderful. Thank you, dear.
Yeah.
Okay. Gian Dot's friend.
Satnam. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So what I was being shown to come from the dark to the light was walking and
Mm,
finding a place to sleep on the ground. And the soil, the touching of the ground and the being the feeling of the vibrations together. And I think sometimes we don't notice that we're sleeping in comfort together. And the vision that I'm giving is how light comes through clouds, or how light twines out of the sun when it reaches out in all directions and it spreads its light amongst, wherever it's going, and then the moon comes out. So what I was being showed was just to, and this is part of my practice it was part of my vibrational practice that was given to me years ago, was to get out of my bed and to sleep on the ground, to try to see, how we became so comfortable in these beds, and what gave us the idea of becoming comfortable in our body. And, and then we're faced with these outer places, and within the singing, while in the healing,
Mm.
there's a way to let it out. There's a solution in that letting out of the truth from our heart. And the kirtan, right, for me is just so simple. The sun, the moon, the birth, the death, the knowledge, wisdom, vitality, communication. Like 5 digits. And five is always a number that it's in the tradition, right? It's the offering of who can come forward to give themselves as a sacrifice, as a side friend to courage of how we move forward in that helping, that healing, I think, is that within that helping. And back to the breath again, yeah, of how we're so common in our vibration here. And the poem before, I think, it's a reminder, right, of how we are moving forward in that courage, and to notice that challenge of what we're facing now that we haven't experienced through our ancestors, through our ways, right? And it can come into that the celebration of the water is, and for me now, like I've battled with caffeine, I've gone away from it, I've came back to it, and now I'm like looking at more of my diet and what I'm bringing into my whole being, that part of my the sustenance, right? The words, the energy. And now I'm looking at the food more, and I'm noticing, the Ayurveda part of it. And it's so beautiful that I went into the store yesterday knowing that I wanted tea, and um I reached for a brand because it had green on it, and it just happened to be on sale as well. And it's this beautiful green tea for stress relieving and energizing. And yeah, it's called Organic India. And I think a lot of this healing coming in, with the words and the knowing of the elements that we're dealing with, and the trees and the leaves and everything else. Let them go. Let the darkness go. We are warriors of heart, and we feed people food for the soul. Why, Guru?
Mm,
Yeah.
Why, thank you.
yes. Okay. Can you just give me the last sentence?
Mm.
Gian das Bram?
It's for the ill feelings or thoughts. Let them go. We are warriors of the heart, and we are serving people food for the body and for the soul. And that's really a big part of the tradition, right? For my wanting to go, because being in the Catholic Christian doctrine, and then learning the history through archaeology and through the artifacts, that I found, a way of coming back to that understanding of getting down on the ground. And when we walk along somewhere, we don't bring everything with us, we bring ourselves, which also does have everything, right? But these possessions that we're looking at now, and these ways of leaving that we're looking at now, that's okay, because that's going to bring us back to where we are here in home. That soul part of our feeding each other and turning the soil is maybe right here in our community. We're going to say to each other, hey, I have a place, I may need help. And that reaching out part of that for our community, of this coming together, is there's a world community too, that there is a lot of power within our part of the community that we're coming together with that other part of the community to create a cohesion. But yeah, for that, I wrote down narrowing of the soul variety. So I don't know why I wrote that, but I did.
Okay,
Being, the mirror.
right.
Right, kudu, more practice, less talk.
Thank you, dear.
Love you.
Okay, love you. Okay, Japa Saraswati.
Mhm.
That narrowing of the soul variety is exactly what I got for the first part, was that narrowing of that expression. But so how do we change darkness to light? The immediate answer was alchemy. And um, and I have to tell you guys about, I probably told you about them before. It's Sarira, Sarira. They are the relics of Buddhist monks, and they're often found in the cremains. They're halfway between a pearl and a crystal. And if the monk is really in a very robust meditation practice, like they are meditating all day long, they can get them even developing on the nape of their neck, like little pearls coming off of the nape of their neck. But then when they leave the active meditation practice, these crystals stop forming in their body. So it only happens when the person is really meditating a lot. But what they are, or they're found usually around the liver and the kidneys, and they're the physical evidence of the alchemy. They have all of the, like, they're used as relics, and they have all of the healing properties, or it's said to be like being around the essence of one of these venerable monks. And to me, I understand them, that those monks were confronted with the hormones of really strong feelings, maybe even negative feelings, and then they did alchemy within their own body and neutralized that acid and that bitter secretion, and basically alchemized it, and it became this pearl or this crystal in their body. And it's the way, yeah, so they developed jewels and gemstones in their body and on the nape of their neck and whatnot. And it's the way that their inner landscape completely mirrored their outer landscape. Like, if we do that through that being neutral, then on the inside of our body, we literally develop pearls and crystals like diamonds. And then also on the outside of our body, that thing that made us have that super bitter emotion would be alchemized and neutralized. And when I asked Baba, what is the tool for doing this, he said, of course, it's heart breath and being in that sense of deep neutral acceptance, deep neutral forgiveness, that all of these emotions coming with neutrality. And what I really saw was like the liver first wanting to pump these icky dark hormones, these dark waters, and then through training and guidance, the liver learning how uh, to make alchemy and secrete things that just utterly change that hormone into something sweet, into something wonderful for us. That was my message.
Thank you.
Mhm. Let me just ask you, Japa Saraswati, how do you change? Are you talking about more meditation, more and more? Or are you talking about changing changing within our mind? What do you, I understand it's all
Mm-hmm.
alchemy, I know, but the tools are
I
used.
guess it depends on where the person is in their healing journey. You know, like when I first started my practice, it would have been different than now. And there have been points in my life when I have been a person who sits and meditates for hours at a time, and you know, that was like my natural state of being. And I, I I used to do that by Baba's statue, and so that's how I understand the monks, that um, I could so easily tap into my breath and my neutrality when I was like that, and I had also this sense of I don't know, of care of I would meditate about something in that time of sitting still, and it was like preparing the thing in advance. So it was almost like sending myself in the into the future to smooth the path for my own self, you know. Um, but now I meditate a lot less. Like I sit in seated meditation less, and and I feel that that's actually normal and healthy for my life changing the way that it has. I'd also like to meditate more, but I think it depends on where you are in your journey, because if you're deep into that advanced meditation practice, it probably takes a different form than if you're not. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Okay, so Sahej. Sahej,
Yes.
you've already given us this wonderful poem, but please go on.
And yes, and so a couple other things have floated up. Um, one thing is I kept hearing this lyric from a song, I think it's called Farther and Further. Or it's from, some people might know the movie Smoke Signals. It's part of the soundtrack there. But the lyric is, sometimes, Father, you and I are like a warrior who has only painted half of his face while the other half cries and cries and cries. And I felt like I was being shown, yes, it's essential to have that warrior spirit. And also, we have to acknowledge this other part of us that is experiencing uh, this transition as a series of losses.
Mhm.
Um, and the whole thing about like um, so the action is the kindness, and the way to get there in any moment is the breath, to use the breath to allow yourself to have the space between stimulus and response, um, so that you can, if you're dealing with a difficult or an aggravating circumstance, it gives you that tiny bit of space so that you can be kind, so that you can listen. And these will be breath to breath times. And again, that line from the poem, the purpose of this is so that you can know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. And that is going to be a very much an internal journey. And like, and as regards to meditation, as we have practiced it, of course, it will always be a good practice. And of course, it's good to do as we're able to do it. But the idea is we were practicing so that at this time we could be in it, that we could take a breath and get into a meditative state. And yeah, doesn't matter if you were able to do a 2.5 hour sadhana this morning. Can you take a breath and get yourself into that space? This is what we've been practicing. And it reminds me of also that, oh yeah, lots of things are flashing in. I think I might have read it into this one of the talks of the Hopi. It's attributed to the Hopi, one of the Hopi elders at the Oribe Nation, um, where he says, "You've been telling people it is the 11th hour. Now you must go tell them it is the hour." And he asks a series of questions like, "Where are you living? What is your work? Know your garden. You know, there's a river flowing very swiftly now." And people will try to cling to the side. I'm totally paraphrasing here. And the people that try to cling to the sides are going to get torn to pieces. You need to swim out to the middle and see who's around you. Um, but he ends it. Oh, darn, I lost the thread there. What was it? It's right at the end. Oh, duh. First of all, I want to remember and remind us all that in the midst of all of this, he says, this could be a very good time. And I always go back to that when I feel bleak. But at the very end, he said, we are the ones we have been waiting for. And I think it would behoove us to take that in on a daily basis, to allow ourselves to understand that we are not small creatures. It's very easy to be frightened by what we see around us. And it's very easy to despair, and that would be understandable. And we can love and forgive ourselves if we get into that space. That's fine. But it's also good to remember that we are, in fact, the ones we have been waiting for. We were just in disguise as something smaller so that we could play out whatever part it is we've been needing to play out. But the time for that's done.
Okay. So you're talking about last time that you were talking about the 11th hour?
Yeah, that little speech by a Hopi elder.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm writing that down.
I can also put that in our group chat, not in the Zoom chat, because for some reason I tried to put the Naomi Shihab Nye poem in there and it wouldn't go, but I put it in our regular group chat. So I can put that other one in there.
Sahej,
Yes.
it was just because it was long when I did post the poem in the
In chunks.
yeah, I just put it in 2 parts.
Oh, great. Thanks. I was wondering if that was it, but between driving and pulling over and driving again, I just couldn't really get it together to
Yeah.
investigate. Okay, thanks.
Cool. So it looks like we all really understand what's happening, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. This is transformation and transition. Isn't it incredible?
Mhm.
Okay.
Blessed to be here.
Yes, it is. Okay. So, Sahej, will you lead us through the song? And
Okay.
everybody remember what that is talking about. Go ahead.
Okay. A little gummy this morning, but I am not small, so I will sing large.
All righty.
Inhale and exhale and inhale to begin. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on.
Inhale. Love you all.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Love you. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you,
And
Your
See
everybody.
you
heart.
next year, everybody.
Yeah, see you next
Yeah.
year.
And don't
Mm.
forget, next week is New Year's, is Wednesday. So we are going to be January the 2nd on Thursday. Got it?
Oh,
What
good.
time?
Okay,
Okay.
Just time.
Woohoo.
What time?
noon.
Noon. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's 8 a.m. Alaska time, if you're wondering.
Thank you.
Dark and early.
Oh,
Okay.
It's going to be dark. It'll be dark at 10 anyway, so no worries.
oh, beautiful. You're holding it down for us, sister. That's the place.
Holding it down in the dream time.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Satnam,
Thank you.
everybody.
Satnam.